So hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. Well, kind of is sort of the spare room. This is my bedroom. A bit happening here. My mate Dan at Dan Shed, excuse this creaky seat, but my mate Dan at Dan Shed's bought a truck, which is a M model Bedford. Very tidy little truck. It's starting to come together, but he wanted some writing on the doors, and this is sort of what we come up with. It's a bit of paper here this tracing paper is about the right size for the door, and I'm going to perforate this and then just dust it with chalk, French chalk, and I'll have an outline there to either draw around or paint around, and we can transfer this across, and then we can transfer it again onto the other side. So that's why we're doing a pattern like this. Posted on social media and Discord, and a few people sort of asked, how do you lay out the letters? And I don't know very much about this. It's really, I can't emphasize enough that it's just practice. This is getting a bit muddy because I had entertained the idea of putting a block on this, which is a line around two sides with angles to make everything look three-dimensional. I don't think it's going to work with the style that we're going with. So I've erased that, and I'm going to have to move this down. But I'm working here with a nice soft sharp pencil and a decent razor. This is a Staedtler Meyers dust proof, black one. It's pretty nice on this stuff. It seems to work. It gives you a nice clean surface and gets rid of everything without making a mess. So what we've got is Shannondale Steam Sawmill Company and a bit of a scroll at the bottom, which is to be advised. But because I sort of had thought that I would do this with a block, the spacing's not right this way. Kerning and everything seems to be pretty good, which is the space between the letters. The way to actually determine how your kerning is going, and if you seem to have it right, is to take three letters, like these three, or 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 these three. And if your middle letter doesn't look like it's exactly in the middle of the other two, it needs to be moved. So that's a good way of checking it. So we start here in the middle, and we count out the letters. There's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So the middle one's 5.5. So that's the 0, or the O. And we do a nice balance O, which gives us sort of the width that we want to start with. And we know the end's a little bit narrower, so we put them in. And the D's about the same width as the O. That's not quite right there. That's probably what's wrong with that. There we go, fix that. And probably here too, I think. That's probably better, and we could get rid of that there as well. I think this pencil's a HB, so it's not even that soft. So if we have a look at it, we've got our letters all penciled out pretty well, and run it 3 lines, a line through the centre is all I've done here, and the line at the top and the line at the bottom. The O and the S, and the C and the G and all those, they probably want to hang over the side a bit, otherwise they'll look a bit small. So you want this to be a fraction taller, if anything. And doing it this way, you can sort of go through and you can sort of see how it looks. But the main thing with spacing is to go with 3 letters, see if the middle one's in the middle, and if they're all they look right, they will be right, but that's the best way to work out if they do look right. These are pretty good too. And this isn't bad. The W is probably a fraction long. Here, you sort of see that I've got some block on this steel, and I haven't actually erased this because it's probably irrelevant to do so. But looking at these three letters, and they're about in the middle, and these three here, and the I's about in the middle, and then these three and the W sort of reasonably spaced. It looks right. And then that AWM, and then they look like they're spaced pretty well. And the SWA looks about right. The thing to be careful with the S is that it's very easy to make it look upside down. You want this to continue out further than this on this side, which is what we've done here and here. This one here does, but it's too thick on the top here because of this part here, so I'm going to change that. And that's probably all it requires. But much better to change this now than to change it when we're painting it. And that's pretty well fixed that and made it look like it's the right way up. We could probably go a bit longer there. It's still got the block on it. We'll get rid of that. So we've got a pretty decent S and a pretty decent A. We could erase that and that. And we could clean that up through there nicely. And then we've got the C here to do the same with that we haven't yet. If we kick that over to about that angle, we can probably get a bit tidier here, a bit more of an idea. This hangs down. You want good circles. I guess I've drawn 100,000 circles in my life for work and for other things, so I'm sort of get a half reasonable sort of a shape, but that's something that might require some practice. The circle is really just made up out of 4 lines. There's not much to it. But if we have a look at this, now we've got rid of that block. Whether it actually gets a shadow or something on it, I don't know whether that's going to happen. But if we got rid of that block, then this steam is sitting a little bit high here. So what we want to do is, see, I reckon we want to drop that down. Probably, if we dropped it down to there, that gives us a sort of an equal spacing here and here. Probably go a fraction lower. I reckon we can drop it down there, which is sort of as one line, and that's pretty straightforward to drop that down. But draw another line there, and the centre. time to sharpen this pencil. Use Bill's knife. It's one of the 1,000 things that it's good for. And there's not a whole lot to sharpen a knife. You want to point on it. There's not a lot to sharpen a pencil. You want to point on it. That's kind of where we're at with that. It doesn't want to, in a soft pencil, it doesn't want to be a real sharp point or it won't last. Beautiful knife by Bill Bacon's. Check him out on YouTube. Great channel. Now, the cross in the A wants to be well below the centre line. If we put it on centre, there's nothing left. This space here wants to be balanced with this space. That's where we are with the A. That's the one secret to that. So, let's fix that one. We've had a whole lot of trouble. The T's the same. Just a matter of extending that down and that down. It's TEA. This and the M's next. And probably we don't even have to roll them up. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. No matter of parallel lines. This side's a bit fatter than this side, so it's kind of got that covered as well. Not much to it, it's just a matter of wiping out the old lines. And that's team. No, it's in team apparently. This one's a bit more complicated. But it's really only a matter of moving it down that particular distance. Probably would be better just to draw that out from scratch. So we give this a bit of a clean up and we notice that really this wants to come this way a bit. So we're probably only going to move this end here this way. So that's not looking bad. This could come a bit further this way, I think. A little bit higher at the top there. A little bit more curve in here. If we clean this up, that's pretty good. So what we've got is two S's in this one. You notice, I don't know if you can notice that, but this one and this one are the same, and this one's different. And the problem being that we've got a different curve on the top here, I think, that we just sketched out. what you get is a slightly different letter, because this one here is followed by an A, so the gap here is different to this one, which is followed by a T, and it's got quite a big gap in here. If you're not careful, then you end up with a letter that's looks a bit kicked over. And that sort of fixed that. So what we've got is a bit more sensible spacing this way. Everything looks good this way. We're well within the confines that are allowed here, because there's a big cut out here in the corner. Down here for the footwell. So once we've got the pattern sort of somewhere near where we want it, and it looks pretty good, next job is to go around with a bounce wheel carefully as we can, and put some holes around the edges so we can transfer the pattern onto the work. Don't want to go too deep, or we'll end up slicing it in half. We'll have a hole, but what we want is a nice neat row of holes in straight lines, like so. And they're a guide really, because once we get this on the actual work, then we're going to go over it and sketch it out nice anyway, and clean it up the same as we've already done, and then it's an easy job to paint within the lines. If we've got a good half decent tracing out on the job, then the rest is pretty straightforward. So that's that job done. Just a piece of cardboard behind there so that it doesn't scratch up the drawing surface. And we'll probably call that just the end of part 1. Subscribe and keep an eye out for part 2, which will be actually putting this onto the truck door. It could be a week or so. I would have liked to have done it this next weekend, but I'm not sure we've got the correct colour paint, so whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. But certainly this is ready to transfer just with a chalk pad and a wax pencil. Thanks for watching, and be kind to each other.